What's the dumbest thing someone ever told you that actually worked? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. I read a newspaper article about a guy who went to his local convenience store and bought 2 lottery tickets. Most people in that situation would play different numbers on each ticket in order to double their minuscule chance of winning. Not this guy. He was interviewed and said he believed that playing the same numbers on both tickets would double down his chance, showing somehow that he was really serious about wanting those numbers to win. So that's what he did. But it turned out that he actually did have the winning numbers for that drawing, and he owned 2 out of the 3 winning tickets. Therefore, he was entitled to walk home with 2/3 of the jackpot, instead of just half. Story 2. I worked for a courier company, and this happened to my boss. He was on a long delivery out in the country. We're from Virginia, but he's currently in Kentucky. We're pretty country ourselves, but not like this. This is pre-smartphone era, so he stops to talk to a local for directions. Guy said, "Go as far as you can see," twice, and there's your turn. My boss stared with bewilderment at the level of deliverance that just came out of this guy's mouth. But he fixed his eyes on a spot as far as he could see. He drove to that spot and made a mental note of the next farthest spot he could see. Upon arriving at the second spot, dead on was the little unmarked turn he was looking for. We still quote it to this day. Go as far as you can see, twice. Story 3. If you find yourself obsessing about something, set a date and stretch of time to worry about it. I have no idea why, but that was the only thing let me set something down in my mind and sleep one night. It was a piece of advice my mother gave me a few days earlier. Ironically, it was something else she'd said to me that was the source of the worry. Story 4. I officiate golf tournaments. This involves long hours of sitting in a golf cart. Then when I had to get out, I'd be very stiff. A friend told me to put a towel down and sit on it, and I wouldn't be as stiff. How could that work? I'm just sitting there not moving, not even driving the cart around. Well, it does work. I'd get out, and I wouldn't be stiff. Story 5. I had a headache at work, years ago, at a previous job. I almost never get headaches, so it was pissing me off because I couldn't ignore it. My coworker, I can get rid of it. Come here, I'll squeeze your head. Me, what? I'll squeeze your head. And sure enough, he grabbed my head and squeezed the side so hard I thought he was going to fracture my skull. Then he squeezed from front and back. Him. Better. That headache was gone and never came back. Now I go around curing my coworkers' headaches. Everyone thinks I'm nuts until it works. Story 6. Old UK stuff. But when youngish, I was told that if you held 8 10-pence coins together and wrapped them 2.5 times with black electrician's tape and then sliced through with a razor blade, that's how old this is, vending machines would accept them as 50-pence coins, a 5-fold increase. We didn't believe it, but tried it and experimented with a jukebox in a pub, and it actually worked. The only problem was that a guy turned up to empty the money box while we were there. He picked them up and looked suspiciously around the pub while we pretended not to notice. I believe there were a number of other related incidents around the Leicester area at the time. Story 7. Got a fuel pump for a very old S10. Put it in the truck. It did not work. Googled problem. Lots of other people having same issue with same fuel pump and no answer. Some random guy on a S10 forum that I found on page 3 of Google posted 10 years ago that the instructions were wrong on that fuel pump. You needed connect the red wire to the black one and not the green one like the instructions said. Worked instantly. Story 8. I was traveling for work and at the Pittsburgh airport. Made a stop in the restroom that has those automatic sink fixtures. The sink wasn't dispensing water or soap, and the custodian told me to hit it until it works. I was successful in my attempts to beat automatic sink fixtures to dispense water and soap with a slap or two from then on. Story 9. If you can't find something and you know it's right in front of you somewhere, walk away for a minute or two, then come back. You'll find it right away. It's easy to get tunnel vision when looking for something, especially when you get frustrated. Stepping back to reset your brain does wonders. Then you get kinda mad since whatever you were looking for is sitting right there where you were looking. Story 10. General knowledge. My father, when I was a kid, if you want to know if the spaghetti is done, throw some at the wall. If it sticks, it's done. Personal anecdote. Me in 1992. To a friend. Hey, you said I can borrow your truck. Just need the keys. No, you don't. Use your keys. They'll work. And they did. Lots of keys would start his truck. Story 11. When my firstborn was an infant, a friend told me that an old native woman said that to keep your baby from crying when you lay them in their crib to sleep, you should move your hand in a circle in the air near them, while slowly backing up and widening the circle until you leave the room. It sounded like a bunch of hooey, but my friend swore by it and danged if it didn't work every time. No idea why, but my kids were all good sleepers. Side note that I certainly always would respond if they woke up and cried, because I wanted them to know that I was there if they needed me, but that didn't happen much either. Story 12. One day I came home from work and there was this little white box sitting on the counter. I asked my wife, "What is this thing?" She said, "It's a box that emits a high-pitched sound that only cats can hear, and it will keep Spike off the counters." Me, "How much did you pay for this magic box?" Wife, "It was $50. Me, $50 for a magic box that's not going work. Can you return it? Wife, "Let's just see if it works, and I'll return it if it doesn't." I ate my fucking words. This was 10 years ago, and my cat got up on the counter one time after we got the box and then never again. The box doesn't even work anymore. I think it's not even plugged in anyway. Still, the cat won't go near it. Sorcery. Story 13. My cousin told me that if you have hiccups, have someone stare into your eyes and ask you when you are going to hiccup next. I laughed it off initially, but when I next got hiccups, I jokingly asked my mom to try it with me, and it works. When nothing else can get rid of my hiccups, it does it every time. I chalk it up to eye contact, and having to concentrate on the hiccups to answer when they are coming is some sort of placebo effect that changes your breathing pattern. Story 14. If you want to earn a cat's trust, blink slowly at them. It sounds really stupid. It feels even dumber to do it, but it actually works. It takes a little time and repetition, but it actually works. The reasoning goes thusly. Cats stare wide-eyed and unblinking at things they feel might be a threat. They won't blink or look away in case you do something while they aren't looking. To take their eyes off of you means that they trust you not to hurt them while they aren't looking. So to show trust, cats blink slowly, leaving their eyes closed for a few seconds. If you do this back at them, it shows them that you trust them not to hurt you. And in order to earn a cat's trust, you must first show that you trust the cat. So if you're ever having trouble with a mistrustful, shy, or aggressive cat, blink slowly at them. Story 15. My husband and I used to live in an apartment, 4th floor apartment with a balcony that was over a greenhouse. The actual greenhouse had walls around it and was gated. Never saw anyone going in or out of there. One day while I was out having a smoke, a strong gust of wind came and blew my cap off my head, which did a boomerang in the wind for a moment before dropping directly below me on the roof of the greenhouse. I really loved that hat. It was a beautiful, purple, full round ball cap that I got traveling. I go inside to tell my husband, who doesn't seem to care much. I quickly scramble for ideas on how to get it back. I can't think of a single thing, and realize that unless I get the gates unlocked and a ladder, there's no way I'm getting it back. I would have made peace with this if the hat wasn't directly in my line of vision, so I'd have to stare at it every day. A storm was coming, so I knew if I just waited until tomorrow to see if I could find my way in, the hat would be ruined anyway. I'd considered jumping off my balcony to get it, but it was a glass roof, so no bueno. My husband then comes up with this idea. This was in Japan, so we had these things which are futon clamps. A lot of folks in Japan sleep on futons, which are like duvets crossed with mattresses. In the morning, people usually throw them over the railing to air out and use a futon clamp to anchor them. Husband grabs the clamp, opens it up, and holds the teeth open with a chopstick. He then ties 2 bath towel belts together and fastened it to the clamp. He tells me he's going to throw the clamp into the wind, so that when it lands on my hat, it will knock the chopstick out and fasten to the hat. I was upset, so I told him to fuck off and went to mope. 2 minutes later, he comes back with my hat. All right, folks, that's a wrap. If you like more of this, please hit a like button and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below. I'll see you in the next video.